are pretty bad. Honestly though, Orwell's worse than Atwood. So we should depose with him first, if he's real.
Don't just use big words because you think you sound smart. You didn't even use the right word. It's dispose. And obviously, Atwood is worse than Orwell.
Well, where's your evidence? You can't have a claim without the proof.
Where's yours? Same goes for you.
Well, I read 1984, right? And, Orwell makes a lot of comments about how the government uses, mental manipulation to, manipulate the people into the mindset that they want. And, desensitizing people to violence and manipulating their memories to think that, those physical beatings are better than Room 101. Just think of the torture. The way that Orwell uses his enemies to organize the people. All of the people. Orwell destroys our peace.
Well, Atwood describes how violence and power increases in severity the more the lower class is disassociated with the higher classes. They don't even become real people anymore. Referencing them as unimportant in My Life as a Bat. You thought you were slick with your butt.
Well, Orwell also talks about how we're changing the new generation, and we're teaching the new generation to turn on their parents and the older generation by snitching on them if they do anything that could possibly seem as treasonous.
Okay, well, what about bad news? It's been everywhere, and I know you've read it, where there's literally a part in there that dehumanizes a literal child, an infant.
And that's what we want. Why are you so blind to the truth? That is exactly what we want.
That's not what we want. It compares it to food, and that's disgusting. It grosses people out. It's horrible. Her message is much more personal and powerful. Power that may be too much.
Okay, well, think about it. What does describing death mean? What is it supposed to mean? Wait, hold on. I think I hear something. I think he's gotta be over here.
A McDonald's McGriddle sounds so good.
Don't distract me with food!
I'm hungry.
Okay, that's good. What you just saw might have left you confused, and that's okay. That's to be expected. What you just saw is evidence of something bigger. Here, let me explain. I know there's something here, something that proves that we aren't being told everything. Something's not quite right. I just have to find it. Now, these are important. I know that, but I haven't quite figured out how they connect just yet. But to begin, Orwell, we can tell that there are some particularly important places, structures, and people in it. Prison, that's number one. This is where the torturing happens and where Winston transforms and we can see the skeleton man and also all of his friends, but most importantly, Room 101 and the perception of it. Now, all of this is really important because there's a lot going on here. Oh, and of course, loyalty. They said that, and how the family is unimportant in comparison. And next, we have the two main characters, Winston and Julia. These are both people, but they are hugely different. First of all, Julia is a woman and Winston is a man. That's probably important. Also, they are kind of like a family, but not quite. So, it's fine if we leave this unconnected as well. Moving to Atwood, there are clearly some particular texts that have the ability to shine the light into this. So, starting with My Life as a Bat, we can see themes of mythology through the one-eyed creature. On top of that, there's the ever-present idea of classism through isolation and separation. Most importantly, though, we can see that violence, a different type of violence than what is over here, but violence nonetheless. This violence causes pain and fear in the bats. This is stated by their praying, which connects to religion. And if you think about it, mythology is basically just religion, so we can make a connection here as well. Next, of course, is bad news. Instantly, we know that news is involved, so we can put this right here. Oh, and of course, we have violence from the baby falling, but that is a different type of violence than is here and here, because it's like an active death, so we can leave that separated as well. So that's everything important. It must be, but there's no connecting factor. There's nothing that brings them together. They're opposites, unless... Okay, right? Unpopular gals. If we look at Unpopular Gals, we can see the use of fairy tales to retell the stories in new lights. But more than that, think of the women who talk about eating the children, the locking up in a tower, the chopping of body parts. That's all of the different types of violence. Here and here as well, but it's not just violence, it's about the people too. Think about it. Every time we see violence, it's some loss or life, or fear or pain, but it all boils down to what's happening to the people as well. On top of that, what is family? Just a group of people that they don't want together. But there's still a disconnect. There's something that's not adding up. Why? Why? But maybe that is the point. To keep them separate. To create violence, this dehumanization where a baby's death doesn't matter. The desensitization where even a starving man is ignored. A society that has order. And even if we look back at Orwell, Winston and Julia are people. And oh my gosh, think of their jobs. What does Winston do for work? The news, which connects over here. And if you think about it, family is exactly what is scared in My Life as a Bat. And religion is just an idea, just like how Room 101 is an idea. And moving back to Julia, Julia is a girl, but more than that, Atwood is a girl as well. Change connects to the news, and violence to Winston. It's all connecting. It's all connecting. It's all connecting change to relationship. Julia being a girl, connecting to, on principle, unpopular gals. Classism. To ideas. And people. Only one thing doesn't make sense. Everything is connected. Everything. Except... But it doesn't make sense. What is that one bit of information connecting that hints to some bigger plot? Some grand conspiracy? Sure, they're connected. Sure, they are both secretly sharing the same message despite being observably, diametrically opposed. But where's the nuance? Where is the je ne sais quoi that makes all of this worth it? We need something to make this all make sense. To connect them, to make them one. But what if I couldn't find the connection? Because there isn't one. What if the conspiracy wasn't that they were plotting together to create an opposition? But what if they were the opposition? What is behind the question mark? No, it can't be. No. All this time, the same person, both simply controlling the masses. All this time, controlled by the same person, both simply in order to hold the masses by creating opposition. The violence, the pain, and they don't even care because of this dehumanization of the masses. Curse you. Curse you, Orwell and Atwood. Curse you. Curse all of you. No, they found me, and this time there's no one to hide. Power to all!